Alright guys, welcome back to the most amazing gaming channel in the world. We're gonna start this off as like episode 1 here. It's gonna be episode 1 of kind of Smite for Dummies 101. And so let's just kind of get started here. So I've been asked a lot, kind of like, what do supports do? What do these people do? What's a solo laner do? And things like that. So I'm just gonna kind of touch on a little bit of all of them. So first of all, if you are a support, you should never take last hit. This essentially means on minions, gods, to get a kill, unless your team is not going to get it. As your basically role for support is to secure kills for your team. That is it. You're not supposed to last hit. You're not supposed to be building damage or anything like that, because they need you to be able to take a bunch of damage and save them and set up kills for your team. If you're not able to do that, you're not being an effective support. So there are times, yes, go ahead. Sometimes there is a kill secure, which is essentially they're going to get away unless you do not finish off the kill, in a sense, you secure it. That's going to be the only time in which you should ever do it. If like they are literally about to leave and you go ahead and hit them with the Amir ice skates wall and call it good. Besides that, though, you should never last hit a Kumba unless he's literally about to wake up and you have all your cooldowns down and you cannot go through and actually secure the kill on Kumba again. That would be the only time. Besides that, though, don't last hit. But then we're going to kind of get into a lot of the terminology here. Things like rotate. I've had people ask me, what does rotate mean? So rotate essentially means to leave the current lane you are in and move your character to another lane. That's it. That's what rotating is. Or in a sense, if they say rotate to this, it is moving your character from its current position to the position that is called out. That could be rotate to left lane, rotate to Gold Fury, rotate to back camps. Whatever it is, you move your character from its current position into the place that was called. That is essentially what a rotate is. Ganking is similar to rotating, but it is slightly different. So a gank is when you rotate to a lane with the intent to and plan to kill an enemy player or players in that lane or wherever they are. A gank is often done with more than just one person. Usually it'll be like your mid lane and your jungler will rotate to the ADC lane with the intent to get a kill or so. Or you rotate to Gold Fury and you gank Gold Fury. So that's kind of what the terminology of what the gank is. Now, roaming. You might go have someone finally type in chat, all right, I'm going to roam. Roaming, in a sense, is where you're going to walk around, not really tied to any lane, and just kind of help whoever needs it. So help clear buffs, help clear, camps, things like that. It's going to kind of put, you're just literally walking around and you're not really needing to be tied down to help out one specific lane. Some people ask, well, what do you mean when you say blue buff? Blue buff is also the blue camp, also called blue, and it's the mana camp. Same thing with red. It's the red buff, also called give me red, and then that's the damage camp. Then there's going to be a new buff, the purple buff, which is an aura defense item, or an aura defense pen or item, in a sense, I guess, buff. Or if you're playing on Siege, and this is the only map in which it has it, it's going to be attack speed on Siege. Besides that, though, it's going to be the aura pen on Conquest. And now to kind of go through, and that's going to be called purple buff, or, the aura pen buff. So blue buff is usually going to go to your warriors. It's going to just give them kind of the sustain to be able to kind of sustain their way to get there. Sustain basically just means keep up your health and mana more than the other enemy so that you can stay in lane longer. Red buff will normally go to the mid laner or the ADC. Usually it's mid first and then the ADC. After that, though, after like about 10 minutes, it's going to go to who's ever higher level. And then end game, when everyone's the same, it's going to be who's doing the most damage while not dying. Now, there's also wards. Now, you always have to make sure, if you are a support, you always pick these up on your way back. Every single time you back, which should be probably no more than like every 3 minutes, you back, get a couple wards, and when you walk back out, you should be good. There's no reason to really not have wards. I hate it when no one has wards. As a solo laner, I try and always have wards just in case, okay, my wards up there are awesome, but now we need them over here. I'm not going to wait the 3 minutes if it's super, super crucial. I mean, if not, then I'll wait a minute and then I'll go and throw a couple more down. So wards are always important. You should always pick these up every time you back, unless you literally don't have gold. Now, if you're going to be finishing off Breastplate of Valor, I would say finish off Breastplate of Valor because the tier 2 to Breast BOV is phenomenal increase compared to a couple minutes of ward vision. So got to kind of make the good decision. But in a sense, if you get in the habit of always picking up, 2 of them, that would be fine. With wards, you also need to know where to ward. There's different types of wards in a sense, not just sentry and normal ward, but there's offensive and defensive wards as well. This is going to be the ward placement on the map. What you want to do with that is, if you keep getting ganked and you're like, I don't see them coming, this is stupid, this is where they keep coming. Like, I push up to halfway to my lane and they always come behind. That's going to be a defensive ward. You place it with the intent that you will need to be protected. Hence, defensive ward. You'll place it on the closer to your tower and make sure that no one's able to kind of gank you from that side. If so, you should get vision and you'll be fine. Now, offensive wards, say every time, you're bullying out your lane and you need to start watching out, hey, they're probably going to rotate and they're not going to come from way behind because I'm always up by their tower still trying to get poke damage out on them. Then you're going to need offensive wards, and that's going to be on more their side of the jungle, closer to their tower, on the alleyways that they will come and gank. So that's going to be the difference between the offensive and defensive wards. Now, I did talk about sentry wards. Basically, sentry wards give you the ability to see a normal ward placed on the map as well as sentries, and it will allow you to destroy them. Now, they do cost 120 gold compared to 50, but with these sentry wards, don't be afraid to pick these up. I still have an issue with this because I go, well, it's 120 gold. It's kind of a lot, but it's worth a lot. Throw it down. You can see, oh, hey, they actually do know that I'm always trying to gank them so I can't get a kill. I promise you, if you spend the extra 70 gold and you get a kill, you just got your money back. Because if you're able to take out their ward, take out their vision, and then the next time you can gank them and get a kill in the next 3 minutes, then you will be fine. So don't be afraid to pick up sentries. Now, as I've been saying a lot of lanes, I've been like, hey, rotate from your lane to a next lane, gank the other lane. You might be sitting there going, well, what the hell is a lane? Probably should have covered this a little bit earlier, but lanes are the places where minions spawn and then run down the place on the map, the alley. It's like a line, and they run, and that is there's 3 lanes in Smite, in Conquest. Now, the lanes we'll get to in a minute, but there's going to be differences, who belongs in what lane is what is this, so you can figure it out, because it is different than League of Legends, where it's not just top and bottom are always the same. So just something to kind of keep in mind there. Now, there's things called Phoenixes as well. The Titans are like end game. You got to kill that, yada, yada, yada. You guys should know that. It's literally the thing that every MOBA is based around. You kill the final thing. It's odd compared to others because this will actually attack you and kill you if you are not careful, compared to other MOBAs. There's Phoenixes that are such like inhibitors. When you destroy these, you get enhanced minions that have extra health and damage. They will be able to do a very, like, if you ever can fight in one of these on your side, do it, because fire minions will do a ton of damage. But Phoenixes are very much like towers, except they regenerate their health back. It is a slow amount, but they will regen it back if you don't kill it soon enough. Also, when you do kill them, you have 3 minutes until they respawn again. At that point, they will respawn and they will slowly start to regen their health back. So you have to make sure that to kind of keep up on that and destroy them when they do come back up. Now, there is also Fire Giant compared to Gold Fury. Gold Fury, it basically gives you gold and experience coming in Season 4. This will be a very important thing to pick up here as far as Gold Fury goes on the sub 10 minutes. So anything before 10 minutes, Gold Fury is going to be very, very good. If you can pick up 2 of these in the first 10 minutes, you will be doing fine. Now, on the flip side, though, Anything over 10 minutes, or essentially anything over 15 minutes in Season 4 will be a waste to go for Gold Fury. Will literally have no reason to be on the map. You should not be going for this, and it's going to be a waste of your resources unless you completely have nothing else to do on the map because you're all about to back. Besides that, though, Gold Fury is not going to be worth it after 15 minutes. Fire Giant, on the other hand, will spawn in at 10 minutes. It's going to have a hugely drastic decrease in its health at the beginning minutes, but late game, when you do get to that 40-50 minutes, you will need everyone there. It's going to have a ton of health, and you will need to make sure to be very careful and cautious around the Fire Giant. You won't really be able to burst it down much late game. With that being said, anything about 10 to 15, with it having the decreased amount of health of under 4,000 HP, which is very manageable for a 5-man team to do in a matter of a few minutes. Going into not even minutes, it would be maybe around 15 to 20 seconds. Your team should be able to do 4,000 damage to a objective, such as the Fire Giant at 10 minutes. Anything over that, you should be very cautious when going up against this at maybe like the 30-minute mark. If the game is not over by then, Fire Giant will have a ton of health now. They increased the health per minute by a ton. It's like 500 per minute. It spawns at 10 minutes, so if you think about that, you're going to have a 500 health per minute. Pair that up with a 3750 starting point, and it's going to go up in 20 minutes later, or 30 minutes in the game, 20 minutes after it spawns, it's going to have another about 25,000 health is what it's going to be at, which is ridiculous to have to try and pump that much out. So be careful. These are going to be very good objective-based items, but late game, you won't really be able to burst it down such as you have been in Season 3. So something to kind of remember, Fire Giant also gives you a gold and experience for your entire team, as well as it gives every living member at the time a huge buff to them. So you can go over that a little bit later, but I think it gives you about 80 magic power, 40 physical power, and you also regen your health back at an increased rate as well as you get extra damage towards towers. Now, as I was talking about earlier with lanes, there's a duo lane, solo lane, and mid lane. Now, duo lane is what is known as the long lane. If you look at a map, which I will unplug right about here somewhere, this long lane is the duo lane. That is where usually, and the meta changes all the time, but where your support and your ADC, your hunter, will go. We'll get to what each class means in a second. Then we have the mid lane, which is the middle lane. Makes sense. Perfect. This is where your mage and your jungle will essentially go. And everyone knows that MOBAs are 5v5s, which means the solo lane, hence the one person goes to that lane solo, will end up going into what is known as the short lane. You can see the short lane compared to the long lane has a bit of difference there, so something to kind of keep an eye on. And then what goes in each lane? Essentially warriors. We'll start with that because warriors are people that have moderate amount of CC. Not a ton, but they do have like some damage abilities while also being able to do be able to CC them in some sort. CC is crowd control, any form of, stuns, roots, knockups, anything like that these warriors will have. Usually they'll also have some sort of heal, either for themselves or as a team, or just innate in their kit. Tira is one that has it in their kit. Amaterasu has it in a sense innately. Whenever you change your stance to get the speed or the damage, you will also heal. Then there's some like Hercules who just throws it on himself, and then you have some like Guan Yu who can heal in a circle around him and heal his entire team. Warriors have some sort of usually sustain while also having some form of CC to do damage, and they are going to be your frontliners and kind of try and take out an enemy god at the time in team fights. They're going to try and kind of zone them out. So that's kind of what the warriors do. And then there are the hunters, also known as ADCs. ADCs is attack, damage, carry. These are people who solely rely on their auto attacks to do damage, and sometimes will have some sort of a dash or an escape within their kit. They'll also have, most of the time, some abilities to do some damage, and sometimes they'll do some debuffs, such as Apollo. It gives him a speed buff while decreasing the attack speed or the movement speed of his enemies, things like that. So the hunters will basically just rely on their auto attacks. That's where they get their damage, and they are kind of your team's sustained damage. They will consistently do damage throughout the entire fight as long as they're alive, or they should be, compared to mages, which is the next people we will talk about. Mages, on the other hand, have usually a ton of bursty damage, and then that's it. They don't really have anything else. After they blow their kit, they're essentially useless. But late game, when they do blow their kit, they should be able to have picked off maybe 1 or 2 people. These are going to be people that go into your mid lane. Mages go into the mid lane here. And mages will have usually an insane amount of damage. Someone like this would be a Giannis or a Scylla. But after they blow their kit, they're essentially useless because their auto attacks don't do, in a sense, anything. They do like 100, maybe like 150 damage, but overall they're not doing much. They get their power, and they're kind of your bursty people to try and get the kill. If not, then that's when you rely on, say, your warrior to kind of hit them with an ability, or your hunter to go and finish off the kill. As we kind of talked about, the supports. Supports are going to be the people that usually have a lot of CC in their kit. The one that's best known for this is Kumbhakarna. His ult is a knockup. His 3 is a mesmerize, which puts you to sleep and you can't move unless take damage. He has a root, and then he also has a pretty good lane clear. You have Khepri, who has a hard CC with a pull. He also has a root, and then he also has a debuff protection. You have people like Athena, who has a stun, or she has a taunt as well as a slow. So usually the supports are going to have a larger health pool. They're going to be a lot more tankier and have more just base innate protections than others. While doing this, they're the people that will need to set up the kills and really kind of protect your squishies. Your squishies are going to be your mages, assassins, and hunters. Your frontliner will be the warrior trying to zone out their squishy to allow you to be able to pick off their mage early and things like that. And that brings us to the last thing we'll cover in this video, which is assassins. Assassins are going to be the people that they're kind of like the mages in a sense. They go in, they do a ton of damage, and then they have to get out. They're kind of your securing kill people, and kind of the people that can really set up kills for your team as well. After your warrior goes in, say you have Thor go in and try and finish him off, and if not, then you have your support to kind of peel for him and get the kill. Now, you know, everything should be good with that. Assassins, like I said, are kind of like the physical gods of mages, or the physical alternative to mages. But assassins are kind of going to be your squishy people that have maybe like one form of like CC there, whether it's a Ser kit, you know, like taunt or attack. You have Hunbots' ult, which is a fear. You have Thor, which has a stun. He actually has a couple stuns. So kind of assassins are the people that will kind of go in, get some good damage, and then they have to get out because they are very squishy but very powerful as well. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this, kind of the Smite 101 for dummies. If you have any other questions, let me know. If I get enough of them, I might just make a second video because apparently I wouldn't do enough. But I tried to cover basically everything the game has to offer in under 20 minutes. So thank you guys so much for watching, and if you did enjoy, give it a like, comment, subscribe, and until the next time, guys, have yourself a fucking amazing life.
Be right back.
Hey!
Let's have some fun. Okay.
Enemy has been
destroyed a middle enemy phoenix. Your team has destroyed a right enemy. Fire giant! This way! Cancel that. Retreat!
Please.
Damn! Ultimate is down. Bring it on. The enemy has been slain. Yank!
Curses. Experiments complete.
Good game.